The art of strategic cruelty, when being mean serves the other, is a dark truth about human nature that most people refuse to acknowledge. Sometimes being cruel is not only justified but strategically necessary for your success and protection. While society preaches unconditional kindness, those who understand power know that strategic cruelty can accomplish in moments what years of niceness cannot achieve. Today, we're going to explore when cruelty becomes a tool of strength, why being mean sometimes serves your interests better than being kind, and how to use calculated harshness to protect yourself while achieving objectives that kindness alone could never accomplish. Understanding strategic versus emotional cruelty. Strategic cruelty is calculated, purposeful, and designed to achieve specific objectives that serve your long-term interests. It's employed when kindness has failed, when boundaries have been violated, or when someone's behavior threatens your well-being. Emotional cruelty comes from anger or the desire to cause pain for its own sake. This type is usually counterproductive because it's driven by emotion rather than strategy. Strategic cruelty appears cold and calculated because it is. It's not about making yourself feel better or getting revenge. It's about changing behavior, establishing boundaries, or protecting your position when gentler methods have proven ineffective. The key distinction is that strategic cruelty serves a purpose beyond immediate satisfaction. It's a tool used when other tools have failed to achieve necessary results. When kindness becomes weakness, many people confuse kindness with weakness. But the real weakness lies in being kind when the situation demands strength. Continuing to be nice to people who exploit your kindness enables their bad behavior and teaches them that you can be walked over without consequences. Some individuals only respond to consequences and boundaries enforced through uncomfortable experiences. They interpret continued kindness despite their bad behavior as permission to continue. In these situations, strategic cruelty becomes necessary self-protection. It demonstrates that crossing your boundaries has real costs and that you're not someone who can be taken advantage of indefinitely. The cruelty serves as a reset mechanism that forces people to reconsider their behavior when they realize their actions have uncomfortable consequences. Professional applications in workplace environments. Strategic cruelty might involve publicly correcting someone who consistently takes credit for your work, refusing to help colleagues who never reciprocate, or allowing someone who spreads rumors to experience professional consequences. This doesn't mean being vindictive, but rather stopping your protective behaviors when people prove they don't deserve them. Sometimes the most strategic thing is simply stopping being helpful to people who harm you. Strategic cruelty often involves withdrawal of benefits rather than active harm. You stop covering for mistakes, stop sharing opportunities, or stop providing assistance that enabled their success. The goal is making people understand that their behavior toward you directly affects how you treat them, creating incentives for better behavior through consequences. Boundary enforcement through calculated harshness. Some people only respect boundaries when violating them becomes genuinely uncomfortable. For these individuals, polite requests and gentle corrections are interpreted as suggestions rather than firm limits. Strategic cruelty in boundary enforcement might involve public embarrassment. When someone crosses lines privately, immediate consequences for violations, or complete withdrawal of privileges that were being abused. The cruelty must be proportional to the boundary violation and directly connected to the specific behavior you're trying to stop. Random or excessive cruelty destroys credibility and makes you appear unstable. Effective boundary enforcement teaches people that your limits are real and that crossing them has immediate, uncomfortable consequences they want to avoid. Reading Who Deserves Strategic Cruelty? Everyone deserves or responds to strategic cruelty. The technique should be reserved for people who have proven through their behavior that they don't respond to reasonable approaches. Good candidates include chronic boundary violators, people who mistake kindness for weakness, individuals who only respect force, and those who actively work against your interests while pretending friendship. Poor candidates include people genuinely trying to improve, those who respond well to communication, individuals who respect your boundaries when established, and people who treat you with basic consideration. The key is recognizing the difference between people who deserve kindness and those who require consequences to change their behavior. Timing and psychological impacts. Strategic cruelty works best when it's unexpected and proportional to the offense. People accustomed to your kindness are particularly affected when you respond with calculated harshness because it demonstrates a significant shift in how you perceive them. The timing should maximize impact while minimizing backlash. This often means responding immediately to boundary violations and choosing moments when witnesses can observe both the offense and your response. The psychological impact extends beyond the immediate target because others observe how you handle violations and adjust their behavior accordingly. Strategic cruelty toward one person often improves how many people treat you. People begin treating you with more respect because they understand that disrespect has real costs they prefer to avoid. Protecting your reputation. Strategic cruelty must be implemented in ways that protect your reputation while achieving your objectives. This requires careful timing, appropriate witnesses, and justification that reasonable people would understand. The best strategic cruelty appears to be a natural consequence of the other person's behavior, rather than an unprovoked attack. When done correctly, observers understand why you responded harshly. Your strategic cruelty should target specific behaviors rather than attacking character, making it appear professional rather than personal. Documentation of previous reasonable attempts helps justify strategic cruelty when it becomes necessary. Avoiding unnecessary cruelty. Art lies in using cruelty only when necessary and stopping immediately when the desired behavior change occurs. Continuing after achieving your objective turns strategic behavior into emotional abuse. Always attempt reasonable approaches before resorting to strategic cruelty. The technique should be a last resort for dealing with people who don't respond to normal social boundaries. Monitor results and adjust accordingly. If it's not achieving desired behavior change, either escalate appropriately or try different approaches rather than continuing ineffective cruelty. Remember that the goal is changing behavior or protecting yourself, not causing pain for its own sake. Long-term effects. Strategic cruelty often improves relationships by establishing clear boundaries and mutual respect that didn't exist before. People who learn to respect your limits through consequences often become better friends and colleagues. Some relationships don't survive strategic cruelty, but these are usually relationships that weren't serving your interests anyway. Losing connections with people who only valued exploiting your kindness often improves your social environment. The long-term effect is usually increased respect and better treatment because people understand that you have standards and will enforce them when necessary. Your reputation becomes someone who is kind but not weak, generous but not exploitable, which attracts higher quality relationships while deterring those who seek easy targets. The ultimate protective tool. Master strategic cruelty, and you'll discover that being selectively mean gives you protection and respect that unconditional kindness never could. Your willingness to be harsh when necessary makes your kindness more valuable, because it's clearly a choice rather than weakness. When others understand that you can be cruel when situations demand it, they naturally treat you with more consideration, because they know that poor treatment has real consequences they want to avoid.